Hello there. Welcome to the Force Collective. I'm a tiny bit late, but we are back with another episode of Star Wars Topics. I am so glad that we finally getting to do this. Things have been hectic lately, but we're back. We're ready to give out our final ratings for this show, do some discussing, all that kind of stuff. Uh, Oh gosh, I have so much to say about this last episode, but I'm going to save my opinions for
You're
last.
not the only one.
Um, I don't know where to begin at this point. Um, so I'm, you know what?
Well. Start with the introductions and then move.
Yeah, that's true. I probably should introduce the two of you. So I'm here today with Sir AOA and Commander Tano. How are you guys doing?
Good enough.
Good enough.
Absolutely fine. I've got
Awesome.
some caffeine and I'm ready to go.
Well, that's awesome because you may need it for this whole
I've got tea.
stream. Yes, good. Just don't choke on it. I know that might happen though in this stream. Trust me. We got a lot. We got a lot to discuss, and some of it might turn out to be funny.
Just make sure you're not drinking any tea while I'm talking.
Or when the sponsor team does their ad. Oh, speaking of the sponsor team, I think it's time for their ad. What do you think?
Well, they seem to be ready.
Well, without further ado, I guess we'll just give it over to them for a moment.
Thanks for that, Jade. Today's sponsor for the Force Collective is Moss Esper Fertilizer. This product has just come on the market. Allow your arid fields to once again flourish to flowered fields fertilized with this fish, blood and bone fertilizer. See your farm come back to life with Moss Esper Fertilizer. The people of Moss Esper would like to thank Lord Fett for providing so much ingredients needed for this product. Back to you, Shade.
It took me a second to get what you were getting at, but I get it now. It took me a second. I don't know why it took me that long. But that was a good one. I like that one. That was a good one.
It might be because you haven't had to rewatch the episode.
I did rewatch it a little bit. I watched.
Yes. How many times have you rewatched it?
I've actually. Well, I'll explain a little more on this later. I've only watched the full episode once, but there's one particular part that I had to replay again, and like I said, I'll talk about that.
See, I'm at about 5 or 6 times. So,
oh, you must have loved it.
If you didn't pick up in the middle of that little ad spot, what's the character's name? The Twi'lek.
Yeah. My professor.
Yeah, that's it.
My ethics professor.
That guy, yeah.
You don't remember what he read from his tablet?
Yeah, I remember what he read from that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember.
So, yeah, just a little change. And yes.
Well, since, I want to keep my opinion for last because I've got a lot to say about this episode. And we're, at the end of this episode of Star Wars Topics, we are going to probably do like a ratings thing. So out of 1 to 10. So have that ready for the very end, guys. What your overall rating would be.
Oh, wait, hang on. I do need to ask.
Okay.
In this rating system, what's the average? Are we going by Hollywood average or actual average?
Well, I would say is average in this. Anything under that, maybe
So
5.
Hollywood average. So
Yeah.
not 5 is the average. It's
No.
higher than 5.
It's yeah. Just I want to say like 6 would be average because it's watchable. That's what it would be. It'd be watchable, maybe rewatchable, but not something that you would be like, oh man, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. That's what I would say a 6 is in this case.
Okay.
Maybe somewhat rewatchable. Certain parts of it. Maybe not.
That's a good metric.
That should be 5 though.
No, 5 would be like watch it once and you're good.
Okay, yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah,
And then
6
then,
is
like,
if it just happens to be on, I'll watch it again. But not, hey, I'm gonna sit down and actually rewatch this.
Yeah. See that's where like the 5 is like, okay, I can say I watched it. I know what happens here. That's fine. I'm not going to watch it again because I don't need to. But
and 4 you finally hit the. Why
4
the hell
is
did I
like,
watch this?
4 is you watch it and you question why you did it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Moderate questioning.
3 you don't finish.
No.
Yes,
That would
exactly.
have to be 2. That would have to be 2.
No, I feel like 3 is like you get halfway through it and don't finish it. 2 is where you like you watch. No, 3 would be I don't know. You're probably right.
3.
We'll each give a number and explain our interpretation of said number.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah.
Oh, we'll spend the next hour debating on what numbers what.
Hey, look, I gotta fill out that time. I gotta do fill out the time. We gotta make the most of this. It's been a while since we've streamed a week, but right? Was it a week?
We've got to give the customer extra bonus because we missed that week.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there is so much in this episode that we can talk about, but like I said, I'm going to keep quiet till about
8-hour stream.
No way. Look, 4 is going to be hard enough when I get to that point, but 8, man, you're asking a lot.
Hey, you said that there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot, and thankfully we have another person here that can also talk with us. Hey, Chrono.
Ooh, hey.
Hey there.
All right, so I'm going to give you the rundown of what we were just talking about, Chrono, because this is important. All right, so we're going to be discussing the season finale of the Book of Boba Fett, of course, but at the end you need to have a 1 out of or 1 to 10 rating. Basically, it's like, let's say 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, or 7 out of 10, whatever you feel. 6 would be like the average, like rewatchable, but it's not the greatest thing you've ever seen. At least maybe certain episodes are rewatchable, maybe not the whole thing.
Oh, so Han, is this for the entire season or just this episode?
No, the whole season. The final ratings of the entire season.
Oh,
the entirety
God.
of Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, we're going to do a final ratings just for this whole season. Now, if you want to rate each episode, you can go ahead and do that.
Oh dear.
But what I want you guys to do, like after the discussion, put in the private chat what your rating is, and I've got this banner thing here set up. I probably should have talked about this beforehand.
Yeah, probably.
I was having such a hard time getting it all set up where I forgot that I was doing this today.
You don't meant to say that live.
Well, you know what? I'm honest with my viewers, okay? But anyways, I got this little thing right here. And
Trust me, we are professionals.
Yes, totally professional. I got this little thing right here that will that's the 1 out of 10 rating. So whichever one you guys pick, I'll put it up when it's time for you guys to put your ratings up. When you say your ratings, just so I know what you guys have, so I don't have to like search. On here, I'll just have them all set up. But anyways, let's go ahead and get on to this the discussion while I'm making sure everything's all good here. We'll start with Sir AOA since he's next to me. I'm going to go last, like I've said. Chrono wasn't here, so he doesn't know, but now he does know. I'm going to go last because I have a lot to say about this episode.
Okay.
So
the first thing that I sort of would have to say, Shade, is what's the difference between every other episode? You always go last.
Well, I mean, that's true.
It's not like it's new.
I like to hear what everybody else has to say, and it helps me sort of it helps me gather my thoughts, because
I know I completely understand it. I completely understand, but you're sort of saying it like this. It's brand new, and it's never happened before, and it's happened
stop
every
nitpicking me and nitpick the show. That's what we're here for. We're not discussing my little fallacies and all this stuff. Fallacy? No, whatever.
Hang on. You want us to nitpick this episode? I thought you didn't want to do an 8-hour stream.
See, you're nitpicking me again, okay? How about we just discuss the episode, okay?
Let's agree on making another stream just to nitpick on Shade.
We are not going to discuss this episode at all. We are just going to keep nitpicking the stream. Just yes.
Okay. Well, then let's get back on track and
yes, get back.
Everyone
on track.
Strap in.
Yeah, you better do that.
Okay. My thoughts of this episode. It frankly epitomizes everything about the season.
Yes.
And not in a good way. Sort of a good idea let down by bad editing in both writing and bad editing, with also bad direction and just yeah. This episode, I would have to say, is the sequel trilogy of this series. You watch it for the first time, you notice a few things that are a little bit odd, but the minute you start digging, you just realize it's just a pretty facade. And the more you think about it and the more you look at it, the more it just falls apart. I mean, the perfect example is when those oh god, what were they called? Scorptech droids or whatever.
Scorpion tanks?
No, they're not tanks, but
that's what I thought they were called.
The big
droid thing.
The big droid things.
The big Droideka inspired droid.
Yes.
Basically the oversized destroyer droid.
The members of Freetown and the mods, they've all buggered off. Boba and the Mandalorian keep the droids preoccupied for easily a minute. What didn't exactly have a stopwatch, and somehow the droids get back on the tail of the people that ran off.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're not exactly fast droids. I mean,
I was wondering the whole time how they were able to keep up with the people.
Yeah, we're not talking about is it droidicars? Is that how you pronounce
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
Destroyer droid, droidicas.
we're not talking about droidicas here that just roll up into balls and start racing after you. And somehow, but someone pointed this out, and it's a really good analogy. This was the final battle of Endgame, Star Wars style.
Yes.
Looked awesome, but the minute you actually sat back and actually looked at it, rather than, once you've noticed that, they're just jingling keys in front of your eyes, you're sitting there going, what the hell? What, seriously, what the hell? But there's just so much wrong with this episode. But it would I should probably put it this way. As popcorn entertainment, it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
As something that was meant to be, the final episode of an epic story, it was definitely what the hell.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, the thing is that I can sit here and go through everything that was wrong with it, but like I said, that would be an 8-hour stream. So just the more I think about it, the more it bugs me. Though actually, I do have to. It was kind of it's kind of jumped into my mind this week. But this might. I'm just going to state it now, but this is probably something that I can elaborate or should elaborate more when we sort of do the entire season.
Yeah.
But because I saw a lot of criticism of the final scene in that episode. And a lot of the criticism is he's meant to be a crime lord, and he's walking down the street and it's all sunshine and lollipops, and it's just sort of it does sort of get back to the whole would this really be where Boba Fett is? But that's a part of a completely different conversation. But there is this anime called How a Realistic Hero Saves a Kingdom. I probably butchered that title. Doesn't matter. The reason I bring this up, and this is actually sounding like this should be more in the entire season discussion than this episode, but in the anime, the main character gets teleported to an entire new world and is essentially made king.
He gets isekai'd.
He gets isekai'd.
But he
Now,
doesn't die.
now the thing is that he takes over, becomes a benevolent ruler and all that, very progressive and very people focused, and sort of all sunshines and rainbows. And spoiler, he also lops the heads off 12 nobles.
Yeah.
Sorry, he invites them to somewhere, and it's all sort of, stuff that nobles would expect to be, oh yeah, this is just what nobles do, and they get their heads lopped off. And the character is nothing but very people first focused and very respectful, and essentially Boba Fett in that last scene. But he has absolutely no, well, actually, no compunction's probably not the right word, but if he needs to order 12 nobles to have their heads lopped off, he's going to order it. He might be troubled about doing so, but he will do it.
The way he explains that in the anime is really good. It's really interesting, and it makes a lot of sense.
It's a great anime. It is a really good anime. But the thing is that the anime can do it, but for some reason, the writers of the Book of Boba Fett can't.
That's true. That's true. From what you describe.
Because I mean, the thing is that, and yet again, I'll probably go more in depth for a season discussion. But the thing is that it does make logical sense that Boba Fett turns into this Boba Fett. But they stuffed up on the writing about this. And they stuffed up on the direction. And all of the problems throughout the season and all of the highlights of the season was epitomized, condensed, and just displayed for the entire 60 minutes in this final episode. And I'm putting the train into the station.
Train to the station. Well, I had something to say and then I lost it.
My apologies.
It's okay. It's not your fault. It's just my brain after a long day.
You need caffeine.
I do. I really do. I mean,
either that or caffeinated alcohol.
Well, I think we all know that I don't drink alcohol, but
I know.
Okay. I'm
but
glad.
I do.
How's that going to help me, though?
I've got no idea.
Okay. Well, you got anything else to say, or is that about it on that?
Well, that's kind of why I said the train's pulling into the station.
I just want to make sure that nothing else came up in your head. Okay.
Don't worry, I'll just jump in when.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just move on to Commander Tano over here then. Go ahead.
I don't. I still don't know what to say. I'll just say like my feelings for this episode were kind of it was a mix. It ranged from like the two scenes that for me just kind of like just illustrated this episode. You have on the one hand the one where like that one where they send the annoying Twi'lek out and he's reading out the Boba's demands, and then Boba and Mando come out on their jetpacks, and it's like, okay, that was fun and cool, and it's like I was like, where was that? Like several episodes ago.
Where was that? Where was that for the entire final episode?
Yes. And so it was like, I was like, okay, this is great. I just wish we'd gotten this sooner. And then there were other things like that one scene, and you've seen people making fun of it all over Twitter. The one where you've got one of the mods just doing that little
twirl,
that little twirly twirl. Just
I shared that in the Discord, if I'm not mistaken.
I laughed a lot at the one you shared.
and you know what really, actually, sorry to butt in, but what really bugs me, and yet again, it epitomizes everything that was wrong with this episode, was that you could have just had the mods look at the Wookiee, because I can't remember how to bloody pronounce his name. Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
And then nod at them, and he can just shrug his arms off, kneel down, and at that point all three just shoot them, and that would have been a much cooler scene, and you wouldn't have needed those god awful cuts. Oh my god. I would really love to have been a fly on the wall when someone went, yes, let's cut that scene into 3.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of my feelings about this episode could be represented by those two scenes. And I was kind of I was thinking about, it's like how, say, when you're discussing the sequel movies, there are two kinds of like two kinds of ways to mess up a movie or a franchise. There's the J.J. Abrams way, and I've said this before in different ways, where it's like I think it's like he just didn't understand how to, especially to me with the Rise of Skywalker, just doesn't understand how to string a story together and keep it all, from falling apart. And then there's Rian Johnson, where it's like, clearly he knows better and he's capable of, there's evidence that it's like, okay, he knows better and he actually understands more of the Star Wars material, given some of the things he's having Luke say about the Jedi. He understands kind of that prequel era too, which I don't think J.J. Abrams really got. But that almost makes it all the worse, where it's like he kind of arrived at the wrong conclusion about what to do about all that material. And I'm kind of trying to figure out with this episode and with the series in general, it's like, is what happened to it just a problem of just more of just incompetence, or of it's just kind of this
ignorance or laziness?
Yeah, or this kind of more deliberate kind of I don't like using the word sabotage or whatever, because I know some people say like but something less extreme than that, but you know what I mean. It's like it's like some of these little choreography decisions, like the twirl. It's like, are there people who legitimately thought this was a good idea, um, I don't know. And it's weird because it's like in that same episode, I'm seeing stuff where it's like, okay, that's really cool. Like I thought it was really cool with that fight where Boba and Mando come in with the jetpacks. I liked seeing like Boba use all the different pieces of his armor. You know, it was like, oh, that's what people want to see, and that's great. And yet, then I see the mind twirl in the same episode, and I'm like, it's like I'd love to. There's so many questions I have about just kind of what was happening behind the scenes with production on all of these episodes.
Yeah.
Because it's just there's such a mixed bag, and so I'm like, it's like I know at least some of the people who are working this know how to do a good. They know how to do a good story, but somehow there's just this other stuff that's in it, and it's just not stitched together well. Yeah, I'm confused. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, because I mean, it does feel undercooked.
Yep.
And it's actually kind of funny because I saw a tweet of someone had T'Challa, you know, with that "get that man a shield" scene, and the person changed it to "give these men more Star Wars projects," and I'm kind of sitting there going, after the book of Boba Fett, I'm just sort of going, I think they need less. And not because they're bad or anything like that. I mean, I'm talking about the bad in terms of ability. But it feels like everything was just a little bit more rushed, and thus all sounded like it was undercooked.
Yeah.
And you know, getting back to your point, Commander Tano, about understanding why they put the twirl in, someone did actually tweet that a lot of little children were kind of doing that move while playing. And it, you know, she made a good point that it could have just been there to be cool for the kids. Problem with that thought process, and it still makes it seem like a problem, that they could have made the twirl a reason for something, but they didn't do that. Like, if he had have been behind cover, so he needed to move out of cover to then get a clear shot, that would have been a lot more understandable. As someone also tweeted, oh, you know, he twirled so he missed that blaster shot. Well, one slight problem with that is that the blaster shot had already hit the wall behind him before he twirled. But yet again,
that's true.
If they had have just delayed that blaster shot, so or made it a lot more obvious that if he had not have twirled, he would have been shot. Yeah, it would probably still look goofy as all hell and what the hell are you doing type of situation. But at least you can just sort of like go, yeah, okay. but with just none of that reason, it just makes it look absolutely ridiculous. And as you said, Commander Tano, you're kind of wondering why they did it. What was behind that decision? And you're kind of sitting there going, there's nothing.
And it's one thing, like, I remember actually, I think it was, yeah. So it was the episode in season 2 of Mando when Boba Fett, shows up, and you know how when Boba gets his armor and he enters the scene, and he's killing stormtroopers, and you see kind of in the background, you see Mando and Fennec just kind of aiming their weapons at nothing, basically, and kind of, you could just tell that they didn't get the best direction necessarily, in terms of giving them something to do while you had kind of the main action in the foreground. It's like, okay, I don't care so much about stuff like that, and that's something where it's just like, oh, people just weren't paying attention, and it looks kind of strange when you actually look at, when you focus on it, but otherwise it doesn't distract from the main action that's happening in the scene. But it's like this. It's like someone, they deliberately wanted to feature this. It's like it can't hide behind the, well, it just wasn't thinking about that, and it's just, we're paying attention to it, and now in retrospect it looks silly. It's like, no, you deliberately cut it this way. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. I feel the same way on that.
But and the thing is that there was just so much of that throughout this episode, and you kind of didn't get that through any of the other episodes in the series, and you kind of sitting there going, why? You really just want to know that, and I don't know. We just might need to wait for the leakers to sort of go, yeah, this is why this happened.
Yep.
But
yeah,
I think I've got everything. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, now I can focus. I got everything set. All right. So, was there anything else you wanted to say about that, or should I move on to Chrono now?
That is it. I'm just still kind of in this state of stunned silence. So, yeah.
All right. Well, Chrono, it looks like you're up.
Oh, well, where do we start? I think the biggest problem I have with this episode is that if you look at the idea of what they wanted to do, the way they wanted this battle to go, it's not bad at all. It's actually a good idea, a good way to set it up and to finish the whole thing. But the execution is really poor in most of the scenes. We have, like Commander Tano was pointing out, the scene where they come out with the jetpacks, and that looks incredibly cool. It looks very similar to that time at the Mandalorian when he's fighting against all these other bounty hunters, and all his other comrades come in and save him with the jetpacks, blasting everyone from above. That looked very cool, and this thing was very similar. But then you move forward in the episode, in that particular battle, and you see stuff like the two of them standing there back to back, taking shots from everywhere. They had cover everywhere. Why didn't they take it? I mean, you already took advantage of the element of surprise. You blasted a couple of bad guys. Go back into cover. You can't just stay there because you have Beskar armor and you're never going to get fatally shot. That's not the way it works. I mean, they could have died, and they didn't because the plot demands they don't. But it was stupid. I mean, you're fighting like 50 people, and you're standing in the middle of the street, shooting wherever you can point. That's really lazy choreography. It's dumb.
But they had 2 sets of armor on. They were fine.
Yeah, I guess that's the logical conclusion.
Beskar and plot.
Yeah,
The
Beskar and plot.
The 2 Beskar armors that
Yeah,
he was wearing.
you're absolutely right. So yeah, I mean the it's not that we want to nitpick every detail, but it's like we know this is not the level of production they can come up with. I mean, we know we can expect something better because we have gotten something better in the past. Things like the twirl. I mean, it's not that it doesn't look cool. I mean, yeah, it looks weird because people are getting shot everywhere and all this stuff. And maybe you wanted that character to look good. Okay, fine, but give him a reason to do it and in a way that it was the only choice or something like that. I mean, it really looks silly and out of place. You're trying to not get shot and to save your friends and to I don't know, to stay alive. And in the middle of that, you just pull off that move just for the look of it. I mean, it really bothers everyone. I mean, it's understandable that it gets so much criticism. And then there's this whole thing with Chrysanthemum. I mean, why the hell would you introduce? And this is something Star Wars does a lot. Why would you introduce a new character only to not use him? He basically got beat by these other people in the streets when the ambush happened, and the only thing you can applaud him for is that the fact that he survived against them all. But we never see him like fighting them in a very interesting way or something. No, it's just they gang up on him, and later we see him come out crawling. And it's like, why? Why would you not show the Wookiee beating people? It's really dumb.
They really needed like a second person in that scene with the Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
You know, just to you know, someone to just walk up, shoot one of the I've forgotten their names.
Yeah, I don't remember them either.
One of the what?
The guys for fighting Chrysanthemum.
The lizard.
The Trandoshans.
The
Trandoshans.
Yeah,
Thank you. And you know, actually, I forgot to link this in the Discord, but Alan from Generation Tech had just a brilliant breakdown of all of the what the hells in that fight scene, and one of the biggest ones was, why do you have a Wookiee in the Trandoshan section of the bloody city?
I thought about that too.
Yeah.
I was like, there is a lot of animosity between the two. Why?
You know,
why?
especially seeing how Chrysanthemum ripped the an arm off a Trandoshan.
I'm completely fine with the Trandos doing that to Chrysanthemum because he literally just ripped one of their arms off.
But yeah, no, I think it would have been a much cooler scene. And hell, it still could have been easily done because they did it for the mods.
Mm-hmm.
Just have my brain's Fennec. That's it. Just have Fennec, like from ages away, snipe one of the Trandoshans off Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
And that being enough for him to throw the rest off him and then he just proceeds to rip the arms out of the others.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that you mentioned Fennec, there's another issue with that. Fennec goes to save the mods, which is okay. A very, very nice scene. And I actually like the way that she runs off to like, I'm going to have to go there because if I don't, they're going to die. That's cool. She gets there, she shoots people, they're safe. And for some reason, she jumps onto her bike that was stationed next to them, to the place where they were pinned down. How the hell did that happen? I mean, you
God, now that makes me want to go back and watch that scene again.
Yeah,
same here.
The moment she stops shooting and they're safe and they're trying to regroup, and she says she's going to go off to do something else, she jumps from her position onto the bike, but the bike was standing right next to where they were taking cover. How?
Oh, that's true. I remember that now. I don't even have to watch that again. Yes, I remember that.
That is not possible. How do you overlook something like that?
Well, hang on.
It has autopilot.
Seeing how we're nitpicking, there's also that great scene where you see the plywood set from up above while the Red Ranger is driving through Mos Espa.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That you might have to refresh my memory on that one. Like I said, I've only watched the episode once.
In the scene where they're essentially, doing the whole the two mod leaders are just checking.
Oh, that.
Yeah, there's a scene where they're driving around the corner and the camera dips down enough to absolutely cleanly see the back of one of the sets.
I didn't notice that.
Yes.
How did I not notice that?
Hang on a second.
Oh no, I gotta watch that.
I've got the show up now, so just give me a second.
Tell me where it's at.
I can. Oh God, where is it? No. There we go. Here we go. Okay. Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna. But yeah, oh God, I can't remember now. I can't find the scene now.
I'm looking for it right now. Dang it! Why did my phone decide to stop playing it? Come on, work with me here.
God, now I can't remember why I
Is it like near the beginning of the scene, or I mean, of that whole sequence?
Though I do, if we're talking about scenes, I do love the negotiation scene.
I do think that's a funny scene.
Yeah, that was good.
That was perfect.
I liked it. I liked how that whole scene panned out at that point. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, the episode has. You found it?
I've even got the quote.
I don't think he has.
Okay. The arid sands of Tatooine will once again flourish with flowered fields fertilized with the bodies of your dead. Yes. Maybe Boba Fett should should give up on being a crime lord and become a poet.
Yes.
Earlier, you were talking about that scene when he's touring the streets after the whole battle, and they're thanking him, and they're all looking up to him with respect and stuff. And Fennec tells him that it's because he saved them and all. And I'm like, what exactly did he do in the whole season to deserve that? I mean, the whole thing happened because he wanted to take over Jabba's business, and then when he did nothing to secure his position. He was thrown around every other episode. And in the end, that whole battle was the result of him picking a fight with the Pikes. So yeah, thank you, Boba Fett, for destroying the town.
I didn't think about that either.
But no, the thing though you have to remember is that were the people of Mos Espa, would they have preferred the Pikes running their goddamn spice trade through Mos Espa, or not having that crap go through Mos Espa and just having Boba Fett rule over them? So it's sort of one of those sort of situations of...
I'll be right back in just a second, guys. You can continue.
Yeah. I'm guessing to sort of say it's sort of like a short-term pain for long-term gain, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that's so perfectly okay. But during the show, he doesn't really do anything. I mean, what he wanted to do was good. I'm completely on board with him changing things, but he didn't do a damn thing. He just went along with situations that eventually landed him as the ruler, because every other people is dead. And all the whole assassination thing with Fennec, why the hell didn't he start by that? I mean, he knew who he needed to go against, and if that was going to be the ultimate solution, he should have started there.
Yeah.
It's a very cool thing, and I actually like that finally they use Fennec for something cooler than to just jump or shoot something for 5 seconds. No, this was really the kind of scene I was expecting for Fennec when she was announced for the show. I wanted to see more of that stuff. Because even if they are the good guys, I mean, they are ruthless, they are bounty hunters, they are assassins. They're supposed to do things that way. I also have a big problem with the, like you pointed out, with the droids. They are super slow, and they are always on the back of everyone. I mean, how the hell is that droid going to catch up with this vehicle that Mando and this mechanic are running in?
Oh yeah.
There's no way. There's just no way.
Not a chance. Not a chance. But yet again, it goes back to, why were these choices made? And it well, like I said, it very much feels like the end game for the Book of Boba Fett, where, oh well, we have to have a final battle, so let's tick the check boxes that we need to check. Do we need a fight with Thanos? Yep, cool, tick. Do we need Cad Bane to do something? Yep, okay, tick, yep. Do we need the good guys to be with their backs up against the wall? Yep.
Yeah, but they didn't even do it in a cool way, because, for example, we were talking about Chrysanthemum being wasted, and it's like that moment when he was trying to break into the force field to fight the droid, I was like, yeah, that's going to be cool. This guy is going to try to rip off at least a leg or something from the droid, and he ends up being kicked into a wall. And why do that? I mean, give him at least a damn moment to shine, to make use of his incredible strength.
Yeah. But yet again, that.
And then Mando with the dark saber. I mean, you have the saber, you're going to use it, fine.
Yes.
And you do this great scene where he cuts the one of the cannons, and for some stupid reason he doesn't cut the other one.
Yeah, doesn't cut the other one.
I mean, why? Why would you not disarm the damn machine?
Now, I mean, like I said, it's one of those things that when you're watching it for the first time, you're sort of all sitting there going, "Ooh, pretty!" But the more you watch, the more you just sort of go, "What the hell were they thinking or doing?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm watching the fight scene again, and you're kind of wondering, how the hell are do the Pikes have so many men type of situation? But there's one scene where throughout the fight scene, they're all shooting the Pikes in to get people, one blaster shot, one kill type of situation.
Yeah.
And then they shoot someone off the roof, and somehow it takes half a dozen shots to kill him as he's still firing back as he's falling off, even though he's been shot in the face. But it really does sort of feel like they were sort of going for we need to find cool stuff for them to do, rather than, will they actually do this? Is this something that makes sense?
But at least you can forgive stuff that doesn't make sense when it looks cool. In this case, it doesn't even look cool.
No, because the thing is that it does have to be plausible, and the thing is that none of it's plausible. I mean, they're all sitting. They're all sitting behind the speeder. And I mean, seriously, how many bolts does it take to kill a Wookiee?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, if they can tank that many blaster bolt shots and still fight that well, why haven't the Wookiees taken over? Why do you need Beskar armor? Just have a whole lot of Wookiees.
Yeah, if that were true, the whole thing during Order 66 in Kashyyyk would have been way different.
Oh yeah, the clones would have all been wiped out. Yoda wouldn't need to go anywhere. He just could stay there as the Wookiees just wiped out both the droids and the clone troopers.
So are you saying that they needed more blaster fire to take out a Wookiee?
Of course. They need more.
That much more? Like, should Chrysanthemum had been where in that blast zone in The Last Jedi? Do you think he would have survived that?
I think he would have survived that. Given what we saw in the episode, he could have survived that.
And one thing that I also need to sort of ask is, Why are the mods walking around with pissy little pistols?
I know, right? Their pistols are tiny little water guns.
I
A
now
child's plaything.
I'm not
We're very nitpicky today.
but it's not nitpicking. I mean, the thing is that you're going to war, so you, like you said, take a water gun.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. And actually, someone brought this up. Boba Fett goes back to the palace
Oh yes. That one.
to not pick up his gunship that could wipe out those bloody droids in 5 seconds.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
He goes to grab his Rancor.
Oh my goodness.
Uh,
I didn't think about that.
you know,
I'm so
there
disappointed
are
now.
there are two things in his two things in his palace that could make absolute short work of the droids, and he grabs the Rancor.
Well, I'll give them this. They were shielded. Those droids were. So maybe it would have repelled his blasts.
We're talking about gunships. You know,
Yes, but
we're talking. I mean, you've got to remember, we're talking about stuff designed to fight other machines that have shields.
yes, but these are literally just destroyer droids, but bigger, and nothing goes through their shields.
Oh yeah, except slow-moving grenades.
Exactly, or just any slow-moving object.
But it just it's one of those things, and this goes for the entire season. A whole lot of cool ideas executed absolutely horribly.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. Black Chrysanthemum should have taken out that droid.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Absolutely,
Yeah, I agree.
he should have been the one taking out that droid. Because, I mean, let's face it. When you are wielding a weapon that can punt someone across the street because they were just punched up into the air, yeah, I think it might be powerful enough to get through the goddamn shields.
Well, I think that Chrysanthemum should have been riding the Rancor. Boba should have been in the Slave One. Mando should have gotten in his Naboo Starfighter, and boom, everything had been done.
Oh, to be perfectly honest, I don't think they should have had the droids, period. I
agree, but disagree.
No. I mean, the thing is that if you wanted the Rancor in the fight, you shouldn't have had the droids.
You think?
What you should have had was just just absolutely filled the street with pikes.
That would have made for a little more fun with the Rancor.
I absolutely. I am talking about, five people across with 10 deep, just flood the goddamn street with pikes, and that would have made sense. Calling in the Rancor. And what's really annoying is that you could have had, sort of an absolute last stand type of scene where they're completely surrounded. There's no hope that they're getting the hell out of there. They've played their cards. There's nothing they can do. And then Boba Fett rocks up with his Rancor, riding his Rancor.
That would have been pretty cool.
Just absolute awesomeness. And I have to say this. Why the hell was Grogu at Tatooine?
Oh gosh.
Oh my god! Just
I don't think you're going to like the answer.
If you noticed, he didn't have a lightsaber with him.
No,
Yeah.
I know, and some
Hashtag
people
Grogu chose the chainmail.
just as a
I
few
was
people have
disappointed, too.
already pointed, as a few people have already tweeted and pointed out, and now my brain's just gone completely.
It was too much
hey,
for you to handle.
Oh, that's right. It completely destroys the emotions of Mandalorian at the end of Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
It makes that scene absolutely pointless now.
It makes the whole last episode before this pointless too.
I was
I was very surprised that they kind of went through that. They appeared to, I mean, I guess conceivably they could, at least for the, not for the reunion, but for the Luke decision bit, that he, I guess they could possibly, maybe there's another episode, say in the Ahsoka series or something else that might expand on that. But just if assuming that, what we have, the pieces of that story, that this is all that we have of that, I'm really surprised that they kind of resolved that quickly, and also in this series. I definitely got, like at the end of Mando season 2, of course I was definitely one of those people. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna be back together again. I'm not worried. I expect that. I'm not, like I've talked with my mom about that. She's like, I hope that they bring them back together. I'm like, yeah, they're going to. It's Disney. They're going to bring them back together. Although
it's far too profitable not to have them together.
Wait a second. Your anti-prediction powers did not work that time. You used my prediction powers, and you made it happen.
Oh,
good on you.
Of course she did. She's a Mary Sue.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
that's true.
Yes. So
she even has my prediction powers.
What's really nice is that I can say anything will happen, and if it happens, I can say it's because of my prediction powers, and if it doesn't happen, I can say, oh, that was when I was reverse predicting, and so everything happens as I foresee, one way or another.
Mary Sue of the Force Collective.
Yep.
That should be in your bio.
Yeah, the Mary Sue.
I should put it
of the Force Collective.
Okay, it's going in. Let me fix that. But what was I? So the point is, it's like, yeah, I anticipated that happening, of course, but not that soon. I feel like that should have dragged on a bit more, and not in this series.
episode 4 in season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Basically.
Yeah, I also just think from if I was Disney and kind of thinking from just like kind of a marketing, just from a pure greed perspective, I would worry about putting that reunion in that series as opposed into Mando season 3, because I think they're assuming that everyone's watching all of the Star Wars things when they're not necessarily. Some people are, but not everyone is, and so it's like I feel like what they should have done with their live action stuff is they should have done one of two things. They either should have just keep discrete series discrete, keep those discrete storylines discrete so that you can jump into one and just be immersed in it, and you don't need to watch, say, other things to fill in gaps. Like you obviously can, and those things may kind of enhance your appreciation, enjoyment of it, but it's like you're not missing anything major if you don't watch every series. They should have either done that and kept things discrete and kind of in their own self-sustaining autonomous units, which they didn't do clearly with this one, or they should have been a little bit more meta in their planning and just said, you know what, we're going to just do one big giant live action series, and it may take us like a decade to get through it all, and we're just going to call it, it's basically going to be the Clone Wars, except it's live action and it's in this particular era, and it can stretch over.
A lot of people have been saying that they should have anthologized everything rather than having it all split up.
Yes, and that way you could have solved a lot of issues with managing audience expectations, and that way you're not necessarily held captive to like, oh, for this character we've got to string together a series of 8 episodes or 12 episodes, it's like, if you feel like for a particular character more of kind of more niche one, it's like, oh, you could just do like maybe a couple episodes for this one, or and maybe for this one we could do a bigger arc of 6 episodes, and we could and you could flip, and like with the Clone Wars, you can go back and forth kind of along timelines, because obviously those things were not released in chronological order, but it still works, and that's how you can manage audience expectations, so that way you aren't setting people up to, if you don't intend to do most of the book of Boba Fett about Boba Fett, you could, if you went with this bigger anthology strategy, then you wouldn't be disappointing people, and then you could actually take, when you do episodes on Boba Fett, actually make those about him, and you know what I mean, it's that would just make so much more sense, because otherwise you're going to have a situation where you've got people who are watching some of the shows but not all of them, and I think you can just have people missing stuff, or you just have what you have in the Book of Boba Fett, where you've got kind of this piecemeal sort of miscellany of episodes. Like, you could actually, and it's funny, if someone asked me like, oh, should I watch it, and I'm like, well, it depends on what you want to get out of it. Like, you could theoretically watch the last 3 episodes, I think. Yeah, the last 3 of the show. The first one where you get Mando back, and then, the next one, and then this one. And you really wouldn't need... You could just do those on their own, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't really have to ask a whole lot of questions. That's maybe... Yeah, that's part of the issue. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's how it's going to... That actually would be interesting. I'd love to know where they are in production for certain things. Obviously, we've got Kenobi coming up, and that doesn't matter because that's in its own discrete timeline. I just view what they're doing with Kenobi as a whole different thing. it's obviously timeline-wise, it's not attached to Mando, Book of Boba Fett, any of this stuff in this era.
People just wanted to see more Kenobi.
Yes.
I can't
People
even say the
wanted more
actor's name
Sand.
right now. Ewan McGregor.
I look at
That's
it as just it's the extra long Obi-Wan movie that people were asking for. That's what it is.
Obi-Wan movie. That's a good one. Well, it's clear that you guys have discussed practically everything that I was going to discuss. So I'm going to jump into mine real quick. What I wanted to say. There's only a few things. I know I'm cutting everybody off, and I'm sorry. But
you're the only one that hasn't had a turn yet.
Well, exactly. So, my thoughts here.
It's your fault for leaving.
Hey, look, I had an issue. I took care of it. That's all I could say. It couldn't be helped. Anyways,
did that include a blaster shot?
I'll let you imagine whatever it could have been.
Hashtag shade shot first.
Oh, that's a good hashtag. I like that.
For anyone who's watching, you can post your comments trying to guess what Shade was doing.
Exactly. Yes, I want to see what people think I was doing. Anyway, so I'm taking my turn forcibly.
Hang on. Is this PG or R18?
No, we can leave it PG to PG-13, I guess. Probably more PG because I'm not really the PG-13 type, I guess.
Because shade shot first really takes on a new meaning when you sort of go into the gutter.
Don't go any further. we will leave it. We will leave it at shade shot first. Okay. Before we go down a dark hole, like Sir AOA's, icon here, I'm gonna finally
come
say what I
to
want
the dark side
with Sir AOA. He has a channel, by the way. Quick plug.
There's nothing on it at the moment.
Well, still, he has a channel, so Anyways,
subscribe for nothing.
You did that. Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, it's not up,
episode.
and
It's not up.
Don't know.
What?
I don't know if I want it up. It didn't really go well, I think.
What? I thought you liked Vicious Farquaad. That's a.
I still haven't gone past the second episode yet.
Oh gosh. All right, now no more of that. We're off topic. I really do want to say some things about this episode. So, my thoughts here. Now, you guys have basically said most of what I was thinking. Some things you brought to light for me, but there's a few other things that nobody has talked about, and I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, this episode made me mad, very mad. Like, I was angry, and it was going good at first. The whole episode was, for the most part, I was enjoying the episode. It's not a bad episode by any means. It's just, it has its issues. But there is one thing in this episode that has made me not like this episode.
Grogu.
And no, it has nothing at all to do with Grogu, actually. It does have something to do with the character they brought in, though.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Chrono knows where I'm going.
Yeah.
So how about that live action Cad Bane? How about it, guys? Did you enjoy Cad Bane in live action? Did you want to see more Cad Bane in live action? Too bad. Forget it. We're just going to kill him. You have no idea how mad I was when I seen that. I literally shouted when they killed him. I'm like, what? What the heck? That was my reaction.
Hey, if the sequel trilogy has taught us anything, no one's truly dead.
True.
Because somehow they will return.
Somehow. Well, anyways, that is the thing that made me hate this episode, because this the fight between the two was pretty good. But I didn't really feel like it was the best final encounter. I feel like Cad Bane should have been a main villain throughout the whole season, or at least a reoccurring one. Maybe not the main villain. The Pikes can be the main villain, but he should have been a reoccurring villain through the whole season. And he should have been a bit more into the. I mean, he should have just been a bit more into the season in general. If they're going to introduce Cad Bane and make him awesome, because they made him awesome every time he was on there for the last few times that we've seen him. Now, I will say, I get it. He's old. I get it. We've seen a lot of them throughout the animated series and all that stuff, but come on, they bring him to live action, kill him off in less than an hour's worth of screen time for him, live action wise. And it just makes me think, like, why would you give us something that cool and take it away, like, right after you give it to us?
Hey, that's so totally an improvement over Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy.
Well, yes.
In a way, yes.
But the thing is, they should have known that it would probably not be well accepted to just see him get killed off like that, you know?
Actually, I don't know if you guys saw this tweet, but Rosaria Dawson, 24 hours before the episode, the final episode came out, tweeted, "Hey, wasn't it cool that Cad Bane came to live action? It would be great to see him in Ahsoka."
Oh, no.
And then 24 hours later, well, I guess he's not coming to Ahsoka.
Well, okay, now, I will say...
I mean, unless they said it before this, that's the only way.
Yeah.
Flashbacks. Back the tank flashback.
No. She could... No. That's why the Ahsoka show exists. It's so that she can... Like, the Book of Boba Fett is like the bad timeline. So Ahsoka's gonna... Ahsoka's gonna come and rip him from a portal and like create a good timeline. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Well, either way, it works to your advantage.
There's one thing that does sort of need to be brought up. The red flashing light.
I was going to say that because I watched a video recently, and that was like his heart monitor or something like that, is what I've heard. And it was flashing. So either that means he is dying or he didn't die.
Or a med team is being evac'd straight away to pick him up and take him to a back to tank.
That too.
So he can have back to tank flashbacks.
Well, yeah, he'll probably have some Clone Wars flashbacks or something like that. That might be where we get we might get a live action version of Cad Bane versus Boba, because there's this metal plate on Cad Bane's head, and that's where he got shot by Boba in the first place. So maybe we'll get a flashback of that. It might not be all bad.
But I mean, the thing is that Cad Bane brings up a huge problem with the Book of Boba Fett, and I said it in the last stream, a misuse of antagonists.
Yep, I agree.
They went too big. Frankly, I think what they should have done was, absolutely have Cad Bane rock up to Freetown and smoke the deputy and shoot the
Marshall.
Marshall. Coke
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah, shoot him in the right shoulder.
That's where he got shot. How did he die from that?
He didn't.
Somehow he died.
Somehow he died. Somehow he's not dead. So
But hey, who's looking forward to Robo Marshall?
Robo Marshall.
Yeah.
Hey, I would watch Cobb Vanth. I like his hair.
Well, he's a backup tank, so we might get a show of him.
Yeah.
Just
Well, really, I think they're just going to have another season of the Book of Boba Fett, and he'll probably be part of it a little bit more.
hey, that's fine. I mean, he's a cool character, and
He really is.
Yeah,
but I mean, yet again, it just shows a lack of attention to detail. You know,
Mhm.
he got shot in the right shoulder, and yet, what did the people of Freetown do? Oh, they started putting medical stuff on his left shoulder.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you
They
know,
played out like they're trying to stop the bleeding or something, and it makes you wonder what bleeding.
yeah,
He wouldn't bleed
That-
from a blaster shot.
no.
that is true.
I mean, you know, what kills people with blaster shots is the fact that their insides have just been cooked. Well
Yes.
done with gravy and red wine.
But the fact that they brought Cad Bane in and killed him off, that was one of my major gripes for this episode. Huh?
No. Sort of what I was getting at is, yeah, have him walk into Freetown, have him shoot everyone up, and then have him leave and come back in the next season.
Yeah, that would have also worked.
Because I mean, the thing is that
He could have been the main villain for the next season.
It makes no sense because they send the Pikes send their army against Boba Fett, and they also send Cad Bane, but they don't work together. So that's really stupid. Cad Bane shows up, threatens him, then goes away, and then the army comes in. And when the army is defeated, Cad Bane comes back to fight Boba Fett on a one-on-one duel. That's like, why? Why would you do that?
Yep.
Yeah, yet again, undercooked.
Yep.
Everything about this is undercooked. Hang on, one thing that I need to ask. Is the season discussion going to be like another episode, or are we just doing it all?
Well, I was hoping to do it here, but
Oh, cool. If we're doing it here, cool. I just didn't want.
we might have to make it a little shorter though, than because we've really focused mainly on just this episode. Like you said, it would have been an 8-hour stream if we nitpicked.
Maybe we should save for next.
Okay, then I will save. I will pull back.
I feel like that's ambitious to fit in, just the whole season in addition to this. But I don't know.
I agree.
Hello there. He says hello, everybody.
Oh,
hello.
there.
Awesome to see you. Very awesome. How are you doing? Well, but yeah, I think we need to save some of this for later because if we want to nitpick, that would take the entire stream, if not longer than that. I think we should probably
4 for 4.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. I still have things to do.
Technically, we should do it. Technically, we should do it because we missed 1 week.
Chrono. Oh gosh. Well, someday we'll do that. Someday we'll do that. I promise it will happen someday. But
On May the 4th.
let's sort of discuss the entirety of the season. Like, well,
No,
should we really?
save for next week.
I mean, should we really discuss the entire season though? Now that I think about it, I mean, because each of these episodes have all been about each episode as we've watched them. Should we just go ahead and start getting to like our final thoughts and then the ratings and all that stuff?
I mean, we could, but I mean, the thing is that we now
We're
have
glad you did. We're very glad you did. I'm sorry, sir. Anyway.
No,
We're very glad
no,
you
that's
did.
fine.
Aw. Glad you're here.
Yes, we're very glad to see you. All right, go
I
ahead.
hope you're enjoying yourself.
I think we should definitely talk about ratings, whether you want to have it be ratings for the episode or the whole series. I think one thing to talk about, and I think this is more of a bigger thing to say for next week or whenever the next time is, I've got thoughts on kind of what it's been interesting to me to kind of read reviews of the episode and the series in general and kind of look at media reaction to it, and also just some thoughts on kind of what lessons Disney should take from this and what lessons Disney shouldn't take from this, and kind of the ratings that this show has gotten, because that's really, I read something where apparently this finale got more, I guess there are more people viewing it than the finale for season 2 of Mando, which I'd love to kind of dig a little bit more into that and think about why that is. Like, is that simply because, as I think a lot of people do, with kind of like they'll just check in and watch a finale for something because they're expecting like an end credit scene or something to learn about other stuff that might be in the works, and so it's not necessarily so much of an interest in the series itself, or maybe it is genuine interest in the finale. Who knows?
I would not be surprised if it was sort of a big case of the end of Mando season 2 got everyone on board the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Because it was just sort of like, hang on, what? That scene with Luke was awesome. So it got everyone excited. Everyone jumped in. All this type of stuff. And so there was more people in the pool to watch the end of the Book of Boba Fett. And I mean, let's face it, every time, every episode of the Book of Boba Fett, it was trending on Twitter for ages. I mean, for days, not just, one day of, oh my God, it was so awesome, followed by crickets for the next 5 days. No, it was pretty much trending for 3 to 4 days. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people that might have been sort of watching the Book of Boba Fett a day or two after the episode came out, deliberately made sure they sat down and watched the last episode.
It's interesting what you mentioned about kind of Book of Boba Fett trending. I can't talk. Trending on Twitter. Trending on Twitter.
Oh gosh.
Oh, where was I going with this? it was interesting what you mentioned because, and part of this, I do have other Twitter accounts to kind of check up on things because I get algorithms and such. I didn't notice that as much, and maybe I don't know why. Maybe part of it is maybe because a lot of the people I follow and interact with a lot of Star Wars stuff, but I also with a lot of just non-Star Wars stuff too. So I don't know. I wish there was some, and there's no good way. I wish there was some way to get like a good, accurate metric on that. I also, and once again, these numbers are probably out there if I were just not so lazy and search for them. Yeah, or things like do we know what kind of the ratings were for not just the finale, but for all of the episodes of this series? Like, was there a significant jump like for the finale, or has it been a pretty consistently loyal?
I haven't audience? Checked for the final episode, but that was a private rating. Thor Skywalker. He got his audience to give a rating for every episode. So I don't know if we can use it or not. But the thing was that,
and like I guess like numbers of viewers. Like I mean like, how many viewers have we gotten for any of the other Book of Boba Fett episodes as opposed to for the finale? Like, was there a huge jump?
Well,
kind of been the same consistently.
That's possibly something that's unknown because, like, Disney's going to actually give us the numbers.
Yeah, agreed.
Like any streaming service will give us the numbers.
I know.
Frankly, they only give us the numbers when they need to justify something. Like canceling Cowboy Bebop. Because the thing is that Netflix actually did release what made the decision, and what made them the decision was that there were many hours watched, and many of those hours were the first 2 episodes, and then they never watched anything else. So it was sort of a big case of there was massive hype. People were sort of interested. They watched the first 2 episodes and went, "Oh my god, this is crap," and then never watched it again. So yeah, the only time we will actually get numbers is, as you said, to show off that, oh, well, more people watched the end of Book of Boba Fett than Mandalorian Season 2. So will we actually get proper numbers? Probably never. Unless someone leaks it.
Unless some benevolent leaker hacker person liberates those numbers for us.
Yeah, hint. Liberate the numbers.
Liberate the numbers.
But then again, if it was leaked, you'll have Disney coming up. Oh no, they're not the actual numbers. Squirrel! Look over there. And of course, the media will be more than happy to kiss the ring of Disney, and follow in line.
Because I'll say again, like I was back in January, I was at Disney World, and I can tell you it was really hard to find, any kind of Boba Fett merchandise, because I was thinking, hey, with this show going on, you'd think you'd see a lot more of that in Disney stores. You don't. And I frankly saw just less,
Grogu, and Grogu?
I won't necessarily say that I saw less Star Wars stuff, although I think I probably did. I definitely think it was less, there was a lot less variety. It was mainly like, most of the Star Wars stuff was like, if you want to get a Grogu plushie, yeah, you could. Like Grogu merchandise, yeah, you can find that. But that's, beyond things like just like maybe a few little pins or things, it just wasn't, it's not what I remember from back when Disney first bought Lucasfilm and they were just releasing The Force Awakens. That was such a different time. There was Star Wars stuff everywhere. And quite a variety of it too. It's just, and they can't, at this point, at least for Disney World, they can't blame the pandemic on this one. It's just that they're not selling as much stuff anymore, or they're selling different, and they're selling different stuff too. That it's kind of gone back to more just classic Disney stuff.
Yep.
They're not relying so much on Star Wars anymore. I haven't seen as much Marvel stuff either. But yeah, it's just more it's more Disney stuff, which if you're going to Disney World for that, it's great. But yeah, it's just so interesting to me. I feel like with this finale episode, maybe they got a windfall in the sense of a bunch of people kind of watched the episode just to try and see an end credit scene, or just because they were curious. It's like wanting to read the ending of a book to see if it's good before reading the whole thing. Maybe that's why this is called the Book of Boba Fett. It's just one of those things where, yes, believe it or not, people do that. So I almost feel like they got maybe a windfall in terms of the number of viewers they got for people who were, at least for people who are accessing it on the streaming service. There are other ways to watch these shows. Anyways,
that is true.
But
Yar! And a bottle of rum.
So, I feel like they may have gotten a windfall with that number and then decided, oh, let's showcase this. But it's interesting that leading up to this, I feel like they were kind of making minimal effort in terms of marketing this. Which is interesting.
Before we go on, we're just going to go ahead and start this, segment of the stream. The final thoughts and the ratings. Now, I don't know if you guys want to go ahead and give your rating.
I read that.
Huh? What was it, Chrono?
I was reading the subtitle in red, and I thought it said rantings.
You've already done that.
Yes.
Oh,
Final
goodness.
thought then.
I'm gonna have to switch that next time. I'm gonna have to switch that for the next stream. Final thought plus rantings. But we're gonna go ahead and get to the final thoughts and ratings. So if anybody hasn't put their ratings in the private chat here, they need to do so. But you can we can either do like the final ratings of both this episode and the season in this episode, or we can save the final ratings of the season for a future stream. But I sort of want to talk about the final rating of the season, but I'll leave it up to you guys. What you want to do on it?
Haven't we decided that we're doing it next week?
Well, we were going to have a full discussion about the complete season, but I feel like we ought to give our final rating for the season at some point. I mean, we can do it here.
Let's leave it for next week, because the thing is that you kind of need to explain the number that you gave it. So if
Well,
we,
I feel like we can explain it here if you want to. That's why.
Or we could just give the
sort of
number, give the number no context, and that's part of the tease.
Well,
ooh,
Yeah,
that's
we
true.
could.
That's true, and we can discuss. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. I like that. I like that. Let's do it.
well, we can start with this episode,
Let's start
and
with this
once
episode.
once
Yes.
everyone's done this episode, we'll tease the season.
Exactly, and just no context, nothing at all. All right. So, go ahead and put your this episode and season ratings. Don't be like Sir AOA with his weird rating.
Hey, there's a reason.
Oh gosh, you're gonna laugh when you see what I put on here in just a minute. Since we're gonna go in order. I'm gonna do mine last. I mean, of course, because I'm always last. But we'll go ahead and start with this episode's ratings. And we're gonna start with Sir AOA's. And I mean, to be honest, what kind of rating is 4.5?
It's
let me show you what I have for 4, and let me show you what I have for 5. So 4, it has some problems. 5 is not the worst, but what is 4.5?
well, when we were sort of discussing this earlier, we kind of had 5 as, oh yeah, no, I watched it and I not really gonna watch it again. So that's where I was sort of sitting, where I would be sort of saying 4 as what the hell was I watching type of situation. Where
Well, should I show the complete rating system first before
yeah, maybe you should.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, okay. So we're
seeing how you've described one thing and now showing another.
Okay, let me show you what I wrote down for each of these. So we're going to start with 0 out of 10, which is the lowest you can possibly go. Should not exist. All right. 1 out of 10, not watchable. 2 out of 10, mostly awful. It might have a couple good little things in there, but it's mostly awful. 3, you just didn't finish it. 4 has some problems, but you were able to watch through most of it. Maybe not finish it, but you still were able to watch it. 5, not the worst. You watched through the whole season, but it's not really like something you'd want to watch again. 6, not the best, not the worst. You might want to rewatch at least a couple different episodes, like let's say the last 2 before this final episode. Those are completely rewatchable. Trust me, I've rewatched them. And this is the good ratings right here is where it gets crazy. Okay, so I think these quotes that I use for each of them sort of describe what I'm Great kid, now don't get cocky. Basically, it's saying it's good, but don't get cocky about it. Okay, don't get arrogant. It's not perfect. More, just more. You're going in a good direction. It may need a couple little improvements, but all in all, give me more of it. Obi-Wan is just completely satisfied. There's like maybe tiny, very tiny, small details that can be fixed, but not necessary. 9 out of 10, good job. And then the final tier, 10 out of 10. This is the way. So just keep doing what you're doing. That's how I decided to rate this. And I mean, I hope this is good. But for whatever reason, Sir AOA wants to go 4.5.
You changed the ranking system.
I didn't change it. I just
Yes,
gave
you
it a
did.
different.
You
No,
did.
I just gave it a different description. I didn't change it. I described it slightly differently.
Yeah, which is called change.
The meaning is still there. It's just described differently.
But yeah,
Okay.
He doesn't alter it any longer.
You can change my rating to 4 then.
Okay, change it to 4. Okay. I'll change it to 4. Oh, Commander Tano, what kind of rating is that?
A good rating.
Okay.
The rating is the devil's in the details. That's what that rating is.
Okay.
That's very clever.
Okay. That is clever. Yes.
It is 6s.
I'm going to have to make a whole new rating just for that. All right, but we'll go ahead and say Sarayway has a 4 out of 10.
Yep.
For this episode. So we don't really have to elaborate too much. It has its problems. It's watchable. Maybe not fully. Maybe some people sort of just skipped out on it, but it's watchable. Okay.
No, I think you could. I think you could watch it completely, but you would be sort of walking away going, "What the hell did I just watch?"
Yeah, exactly.
So to say that people would walk away from watching the complete season, I think would be wrong. And has some problems. I would probably remove the some.
I was trying to be generous.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is that the problems don't stop you from watching the entire episode. It just stops you from wanting to watch it again. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Commander Tano, I guess we'll go ahead to your rating. I don't know exactly what to put it as. I'm going to assume a 6.
It's my sincere rating is 6.
Okay. Not the best, not the worst. It could have been better, but all in all, I might rewatch a couple episodes of it, average, in other words. That you got anything to add to that?
Nope, I'll save it for next week.
Okay. And now on to Chronos. Let me see what he said his was. Okay. All right. Chronos was a 5. So he probably wouldn't rewatch it all, but he was able to watch it. Not the worst thing possible. It could have been better in multiple areas. And okay, I got you, sir. Anyway, okay. You got anything to add to that, Chrono?
I think it was okay. I mean, I didn't hate this episode. It's not like I was like, hey, what the hell am I watching? Why did I waste my time or anything like that?
Yep.
But the frustration it generates comes from the fact that they had something good and they executed very, very poorly.
Yep. And I guess on to my rating for this episode. And I am going to say a 5 as well for this episode in particular. And the main reason for that is because of course, you all know what they did to my man Cad Bane. It was going to be a 6. The episode wasn't that bad, but those few things that you guys mentioned, or those many things you guys mentioned throughout the stream made me sort of bump down my rating because Cad Bane himself was just a full point taken off. It would never have been a 10 out of 10. It would have been a 9 out of 10 if I did enjoy the rest of it. But those few things that you guys had mentioned knocked it down from a 7 to a 6, and then Cad Bane knocked it down to a 5. That's my thought process here. So I did enjoy the episode for the most part, but I take 1 point off for all those things I didn't realize before because I had only watched the episode once, and then a full point for Cad Bane being killed off. That might seem childish, but I really wanted to see more of that, and we won't get that, I don't think, unless he does somehow survive. Somehow.
Somehow.
Which would probably knock down another at least half a point.
I don't know. Maybe half a point. I don't know. I mean, I want him to survive, so it might make it better for me. If he does survive, this episode will be a 6. If he did survive it, this episode would be a 6 for me. I'll just go ahead.
Really, I thought it would drop it.
No, honestly, I mean, Cad Bane surviving wouldn't drop it. I mean, I do get the somehow survived deal, but at the same time, if there was any character that they could bring back from whatever would have been dead, I guess, I don't know. Is anything really dead in Star Wars? But if there's one character that I would ask
The
them
deputy.
to bring back to life, the deputy, yeah. The deputy was
He's
by
definitely
far the
dead.
man. Yeah, he's definitely dead. But I would ask them to bring Cad Bane back, and if that was the only character I could ever bring back from the dead, that he would be the one right now. Because I mean, unless we're talking about Luke in The Last Jedi, but I don't count those movies anymore, so I'm not counting any of that. As far as I'm concerned, Palpatine is still dead. Luke never went to hide on Ahch-To, all that stuff. But that all in all, right now it's a 5. It would be a 6 if Cad Bane survived, and I'll just put it that way. Anyways, now we'll just go on into the season ratings, but we will not elaborate on why. We will talk about the entire season in the next episode of Star Wars Topics. But before we end today, we're going to end with our final ratings of the season. We'll explain more later. So we'll go ahead and start with Sir AOA. And I think before I go on, I think what we'll do is we'll find an overall rating that we can all agree upon. Maybe we'll take the average of these ratings and just say that that's what the overall season is. But there'll be like a final rating in the next episode. But this is our personal rankings for the season. All right. So first, Sir AOA, we are going to, first we're going to say Sir AOA's, which is a 6. All right. He rates it 6. Let's see. I'm having to go back and forth because I can't remember anything. All right. And Commander Tano's is also a 6. I think we know where the overall ranking's going to be at the end. Chrono is a 6.
Yeah.
And then me, I say 6 as well. So actually, that's probably the final rating since we were going to take the average of these, but that's okay.
And the average is 6.
6.
6.
Yep, all 6s.
Actually, I got to admit, it's kind of a bit of a shame that we don't have a Kiwi in the in the show.
We need to find one.
Oh yeah, we do. We do.
Does anyone know why?
Tell us why.
Because then it would have been sucks.
We need to recruit a Kiwi specifically for that.
Yep, just for that. We need it. I want it now. But yeah, that's our final ratings for the season. We'll discuss the overall season in the next and final episode of the Book of Boba Fett discussion series that we're doing with Star Wars Topics. After this next episode, we're done with the Book of Boba Fett for now. We will probably get on into just some random stuff at that point. We were going to do just like a chill stream the next one after this or after this one, yeah. But you know what? I want to do one more for the Book of Boba Fett since there is so much to talk about. And, there's not enough time in each of these streams to do it unless we go 4 for 4. And I don't want to go 4 for 4. Not
No,
yet.
you know you want more.
You guys will get it someday. I promise. You'll get the 4-hour stream you dream of. I can just see Chrono now laying in his bed, tossing and turning 4 for 4, 4 for 4, tossing and turning, saying that every single time he tosses and turns. I can see it now. He really wants it that badly. But, huh?
Yeah, you're kind of right there.
I'm kind of right. Wow. But I just wanted to show this right here too because I had this made for Soraya Way's other rating. It was a 5.5. Only Soraya Way would have this rating. Seriously. It's your turn to get nitpicked.
Because
Soraya Way.
because the thing is that the way we explained it in the beginning of the stream, it was somewhat in the middle.
Well,
You can only choose 5 or 6. You can only choose the chainmail or the lightsaber. Come on.
There you go. You have your choice.
Only the Sith deals in absolutes.
Yeah, we have a big room here.
Oh no, he countered us with such a good quote. But anyways, we're going to save the rest of this for the next stream. So we're probably just going to go ahead and end it here. I have a few things to say before we end the stream, of course. I got to do my weekly plugging for everything. We do have a playlist. If you want to see more episodes of Star Wars topics, we have a playlist made for this down in the description. So you don't have to go searching for each individual episode. Just click on the link down there and boom, you have all of the episodes from the first one, which was okay, to this one, which is top tier, of course. We're so professional at this point. So
yeah, we have boom mics and all.
Yeah, exactly. We're becoming very
with
professional.
pop filters and all that.
Well, maybe that more applies to Soraya Way than me. I got a nice mic though. I'll just say that much. But we got all the episodes in that playlist. This one will be in that playlist as soon as it goes up on the channel, which it should immediately after I end the broadcast, of course. But I will put it in the playlist, so this one will be there too. We also have links for our Discord and our Twitch in the description below. So you can follow us on Twitch and join the Discord if you want to join us on there because, who doesn't want to, hang out with us, right? We're the best people ever. Just saying. I thought there was one other thing. Oh, yeah, my Twitter is in the description below. I completely forgot. My Twitter is in the description below. You can follow me there. I'm most active there. I'm not that active anymore, but I am mostly active there. So you'll if you ever
beat
want
me to that.
Shut up, Sir Look, I can nitpick myself, okay? You don't have to nitpick me. But
I do it so well.
Yes, you do. You really do. You really do. Everybody can do it to me, though. I mean, even people I work with and all that stuff, they find ways to nitpick me to mess with me. So it's sort of just become a thing for me at this point, and I've learned to accept it. Acceptance is the only way, I guess, at this point.
This is the way.
This is the way. But yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and end the stream now. It's been fun, and I'm having a hard time figuring out what I was going to say or how I was going to say it. I need to rehearse these outros. I need to rehearse it to myself because I can never do it right first try.
You need someone to script it like G4 TV?
Yeah. Let's do it like G4 TV. Let's do it just like them. And
Peace.
But anyways,
Oh
it's
no,
been fun
sorry,
to-
hang on. Wait, if you don't like it, don't watch us. Peace.
Oh yeah, there we go. If you don't like us, don't watch us. That's the best motto.
That's how G4 does it, right?
That's the ultimate marketing tool.
Seriously though, what's with people and coming up with that terrible marketing? Like, if you don't like it, don't watch it or don't buy it or something like that. That's a whole other discussion. I'm not doing that right now.
If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
That's what I was referencing. I'm so glad you got that.
So what did everyone do? Not buy her book.
Exactly. Hey, you asked him to. You can't blame anybody but yourself at this point. You asked for it. Okay, but
Fast forward to last year when she was begging us to buy the books.
They'll come begging. That's really what she was expecting. Is that they'll beg for her to sell her books to us. I wouldn't.
Sell it to us, mummy.
But honestly, it comes off more like this though. Buy it or else. I had to add that in there before I ended.
That was missing.
Yeah, what now?
I was just about to point out that you were missing the child murdering.
Yeah, I realized that, and that's why I came up with a segue for it.
It's not a Force Collective stream without some child murder.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course not.
Watch and subscribe.
Yes, subscribe for more child murder. But
marketing is going to have such a field day with this, and PR is going to love us.
Well, that's our sponsor team is made for this kind of thing. Okay, they're made to help us look better. So make sure the sponsor team gets to work. Okay. I'm sure you know somebody over there.
The sponsor team is meant to make the sponsors look good.
Yeah, but it also makes the
nothing to do with Well, I guess because the thing is that we always seem to have sponsors. So
I know, right? And it's a different one every single time. There's a lot of them out there that they just love us.
Yeah,
I think it's the child murder.
Well, sorry. Maybe all of the races in the universe are enjoying the child murder.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Okay, that's enough. We went into a dark place. We're good now. A dark place.
That's because I am here.
Great care we must take. Yeah, that was a reference to Revenge of the Sith. I don't know if you got that. You probably did. You're Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and go before we start making more child murder jokes. So,
and it slowly ticks to 3 hours.
And yes, we don't want a 3-hour stream at all. I mean, unless you're Chrono and can't sleep at night until we do so. I'm sorry, Chrono, for your sleep deprivation.
No, he's looking for the 4-hour stream, not the 3-hour.
I know, but the longer it goes, the more sleep he gets. But once he gets to the 4-hour, he gets a full night's sleep. That's how that works. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. It's weird how I know this stuff.
Hey, Chrono, I think you should probably start pulling apart your house, looking for hidden cameras and mics.
I mean, the fact that I knew they tossed and turned and said 4 for 4 every time he did it sort of implies that, I'd say. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see you later.
Now I'm worried about either the cameras or the foresight.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Which is worse? I'll let you find that out later, though. All right. Seriously, though, it's been fun. So we're going to go. We'll see you in the next episode of Star Wars Topics. So until then, may the Force be with you always.
Sector.